now be known by the company we keep. Hi there, my name is Tercy Engelhardt, and I'd like to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast, Living in Grace by Choice. So every week I gather my thoughts together. I take a look at what I'm currently walking through. I reflect back on these now 39 years of recovery from living an addictive lifestyle for 20 years and the lessons I've learned, the wisdom I've gleaned over those years, and an opportunity to take a few moments to sit and share them with you as other people shared with me. And it was meaningful. And so that's my hope. My hope is that it's meaningful for you, that you gain something that supports you on your own journey. I believe that we're all on this journey together. Um, putting ourselves back together again, so to speak. Like, do I believe that we were born into this life as a creative being? Yes, as somebody who's up to something, who's been given gifts and skills and talents, and they're yours to contribute. Yes, I do. And does life get in the way of that? Yes, it does. And so this journey is really about moving those things that are in the way out of the way so that we can more fully embrace who we are, why we're here, and what we came to share. So, thank you for being a part of my journey. I'm honored to be a part of yours. So, this particular week, I had the opportunity to sit with someone individually. And if you're interested in that, you can go to tercyengelhardt.com and sign up under Work Together. You can also always reach out to me at Tercy at tercyengelhardt.com, and I'll be happy to respond to you. So, anyway, this particular week, I got to meet with somebody who's embracing in the last several years a new life, healing herself from also having lived an addictive lifestyle. And congratulations. That's always exciting to me. It's as exciting to me as being at the birth of a new baby, a new infant, as you see this new life take its first breath and live into this wide open future. The same thing is true when someone cleans up their past, begins to take responsibility, and make choices that lead them towards who they were created to be. It's just as thrilling to me. So, anyhow, with this particular person, I set up a time to be able to do some work, and I wanted to share some of those first steps with you as we walk through this together, because all of us can at any moment embrace a newness. We can let go of perhaps a way of being or a way of thinking that just it isn't any serving us any longer. And maybe it served you when you were a younger mother with younger children, or maybe it served you when you were living a different lifestyle. And now you can see, wow, there is an opportunity for me to step into perhaps a new way of being that will lead me closer to who I was designed to be. So, this is the part of that. So, I'm going to share this with you. It's created by a good friend, couple good friends, one of them no longer with us, that I've met years and years ago. And Rylan, my son, sent me this as I was beginning to work with this person. So, I want to share it with you. And it's the work that we've done for years inside of our restaurant community. And it's, what are you called to be? Who are you called to be? What is a calling? And so I want to walk you through those first questions this week and have you start to do that work. Okay, so what we're really working on is you living an aligned life, which is, all of us know that death is the expected future for all of us at some point. And in order for us to live a life that's aligned with who we are, you need to have a couple of points actually in place in your life. And your whole life needs to have what we call a North Star. It has something that's authentic and real and possible. And it's what you guide yourself by. So we're going to take a look at what is that? What are you guiding yourself by? A calling is perhaps what you might say is sort of the original intent of your life. It's like who you're called to be, What's the intention of your life? And again, you may have spent no time thinking about this in the past, but now there's an opportunity to, and we can do this together. So, one of the ways that you could look at this is you could say, what's the kind of life that I want to be aligned with? And you can begin to, write these answers down and work at it. It doesn't have to come automatically, and you don't have to have the answers because it may not be so much a mental experience as it is more of a heart based or a spiritual experience for you. So, really start to think about it is what is the kind of life that you want to be aligned to? What would that look like? And you can describe that or write about it in your journal. Think about it though. Let yourself kind of open up to that. And it's something probably that you're inspired by, something that lights you up, calls you forward, moves you to take the next step. Like, what is that really? What is it that inspires you enough that you could have it guide your life? Okay. And you want to be able to tell yourself the truth. Nobody else has to know what you're saying, but be honest, be truthful. And sometimes you have to sit with these questions. My friend was saying, wow, at first I read him and I was like upset, disappointed, angry, whatever, confronted. And then pretty soon thinking about him and ruminating on him, they began to open up and more became available. And she began to feel kind of the hand of God on her. And she got nudged and things began to clear up. So, again, you want to tell the truth. So, answer the question, what is your life about? So, what is your life about? And one of the ways you can get to that is you can think about, was there a moment or what was that moment in your life when you actually felt total fulfillment? If your life had ended, you'd have been okay. You felt completely fulfilled. You were touched, you were moved, perhaps you were inspired. Those moments where you're just like, okay, this is it. What were those? What were you doing? Who was there? Begin to describe that for yourself. And again, let your consciousness kind of dwell on that and see what you see. Another way of looking at that is if you came to the end of your life, what would you say your life had been about at the end of your life? And who would be there? Who would be with you? What would you be remembering? Okay? So that's all I want you to do this week. We'll continue this for a few weeks, but that's all I want you to do is just begin to think about, what is your life about? And if you were living an aligned life, what would that look like? What would you be aligned with? We've talked about this in a variety of different ways before. Some of you may remember me talking about my friend who was a professional clown and became an athlete, a marathon runner. So, but right now, what I want you to look at is, what is your life about? What is the North Star? What is guiding you? What touches and moves and inspires you? If not currently, what has in the past? And again, spend some time writing it out. You don't have to worry about getting it right. Nobody else is going to read it unless you show it to them. So, be honest with yourself. And the purpose of this is to get to the place where you can actually begin to identify who you're called to be. And then we'll kind of go from there to the next step. Okay. So set aside the time to do that this week. Be honest, write it down, and let yourself open up and see, what would that, if you were living in an alignment, what would you be aligned to? What would you be aligned with? Okay. And I'll be here next week. I look forward to seeing you then. You can always share with me through either a comment or a chat, or you can email me. Happy to communicate with you. And I'll be here. I look forward to seeing you then, and have fun doing this work and see if it doesn't open up something for you and lead you into perhaps what might be the next step for you. All right. Have a beautiful week. See you then.